there's so many approaches in life to how to live life. But the Taoist approach is really interesting because it says, instead of feeling that you need to take action about something, sometimes inaction is the best thing. It says, in instead of trying to force trying to figure something out, let go of trying to figure something out, and you'll find the peace necessary to act in accordance, in alignment with what they call the Tao, this force of peace and wisdom that flows through ourselves and reality that we can't perceive because we have so much tension in our emotions and our mind. So this is obviously counterintuitive, and I was speaking to my partner yesterday, and we're having a chat about, for certain things, should we act, should we not act, these kind of ideas. And so these posts, I'm not giving you any kind of like, this is the absolute truth. I'm not, anything that I think is just me starting to explore, look at what has worked for me, what hasn't worked for me, what I've seen work for other people and not work for other people over the years. So it's not some kind of new dogma that I'm expecting anyone else to follow. It's just an exploration of ideas and thoughts around these things. But we were speaking about Lao Tzu, who's one of the great teachers of Taoism, and really his philosophy, he grew up in the warring periods of China where there was just bloodshed everywhere, and I think he was a keeper of the imperial records, and he was seen as a great wisdom teacher in society. He probably had some fame and notoriety. Lao Tzu wasn't his name. Lao Tzu just means old man. No one really knew his name, bar that he was this great teacher. I think Confucius even met him and compared him to a dragon. He said in respect of a dragon being an incredible, wise and powerful being. So then Lao Tzu's whole thing, growing up in the war and bloodshed and fighting and hostility everywhere, he came to the conclusion at some point that we're not here to change that. He wasn't there to change that. He was there to change himself in response to that. And the strange paradox being that he discovered that by not wanting to change that, by just being the force of change within that naturally, operating not from a state of confusion or hatred or hostility, but a state of peace and centeredness, had a powerful impact. And so then the story of Lao Tzu is that he kind of gave up on society. He realized possibly it couldn't be changed, that it is what it is, And so then the story of the Tao Te Ching, which has become the second most popular book on the planet in relation to, over the years, behind the Bible, in how much it's been translated in various countries. So the story of this book is that he kind of gave up. He gave up, I imagine, trying to change society and, maybe fight, or, he just gave up on this fight that many of us are looking at the moment. And he instead went on an ox up into the mountains to probably live as a hermit, we imagine, to live a very simple life. But then that's not the end of the story. The story is that he approached the last of the border gates, I think it was, or the last of the border posts into the mountains. And one of the soldiers on the border gate recognized him and said, "Oh my God, why are you leaving society? You're the one who could probably affect a positive change here." So Lao Tzu, out of compassion, we imagine, he said, "Okay, so before I go off into the mountains," the guard asked him, "Please write down your most popular ideas, how you think society could be run, how you think the process, what the purpose of life is." So Lao Tzu wrote these verses down for the guard. These verses became the Tao Te Ching, this most popular book on earth, the second most translated book on earth. So think about that. Lao Tzu decided that he didn't want to change anything, that he just rode off into the mountains to be by himself. But strangely, in that moment of surrender and letting go, he was asked to write a series of verses which he obliged, which became the Tao Te Ching, one of the most powerful spiritual texts on the planet, all from doing nothing, from letting go. So this is really the process I talk about quite a lot. To not try and solve things from a place of confusion and hatred and the belief you need to change things, but instead to link into that wiser, deeper still point within the body and just let the natural changes that need to happen in life happen through you effortlessly. That's what I've seen has worked in my life and continues to work. The letting go of struggle. So I hope this is of some help to you, and I hope you have a peaceful and beautiful day.